Welcome back to the Road to National series. In today's episode, I'm going to take you through an upper dynamic workout. Now, this workout did not go to plan at all. As you can see there, I'm feeling my left elbow, and that is because I have strained my bicep tendon. So what I was supposed to have programmed was this weight on the bar, 65 kilos of bar weight plus 70 kilos of band tension. It's the third week in my 3-week wave, so it's the heaviest week. However, I wasn't able to be snappy in that set there. I only did 4 reps, and the pain and inflammation in my bicep tendon running all the way up to where the bicep inserts around the shoulder joint, it was all too painful. So I lightened the load here, went to 40 kilos of bar weight instead, which is lighter than even my first week in my dynamic wave. I wanted to try and get something in, but the pain in my elbow is extremely frustrating. It's annoying that it's sort of destroyed the pinnacle of my 3-week wave. This is supposed to be what my dynamic training builds to, and then I reset. So the only good news is that next week is a deload week, and I'm going to be able to rehab this. I don't think this is a major injury in any capacity, and I think what I actually did to hurt it was on my lower workout. I did Jefferson curls with an axle bar, and I was holding the bar like a Zercher carry style, and it was 100 kilos of bar weight, and I think that was just quite a lot of pressure to put around that elbow joint. And on the left bicep in particular, because I wrapped my left arm around my right arm. So I think I pulled in mainly with my left side, and that's why I ended up straining this left bicep. So very frustrating. That's obviously like a secondary muscle in the exercise I was doing. I hurt my elbow not even on an upper day. So it is annoying, but I do think I'll be able to get over it by the end of next week, which is my deload week. Just a bit frustrating to sort of decimate the pinnacle of my dynamic effort, but didn't affect any maxes earlier in the week. So my first accessory here is tricep extensions. I decided to go really light. That's what I did for all of my accessories. I just went light and high rep today. That is the opposite of what I'd normally do. I normally build up in weight over the 3 weeks on my accessories as well. So I'd normally be doing 6 to 8 reps per accessory for this week. However, like I say, because of my elbow pain, I decided to just go light and do light tricep extensions, 30 pounds, which is exceptionally light for me. But built up to sets of 20, 25, I don't know, I can't remember. And this second set, I supersetted here with like overhead tricep extensions. So these did actually burn the muscles so much. Doing higher reps like this, particularly when you're training with a high intensity and sort of to failure, if you ask yourself after 20 reps, can I do another rep? The answer is basically yes. So it's much easier than when you do like heavy triples or even sets of 5 or 6, because when you hit a 5th rep, if you get asked for £1,000,000, could you do another rep? You can say very clearly no, like the weight's just too heavy to get one more rep. However, when you are training light and doing lots of reps, when you ask yourself that question, could I crank out another rep? The answer is usually yes. So this workout in general did actually create a lot of soreness. It was actually pretty high intensity still, and that the higher reps and lower weight did manage to avoid aggravating my elbow. At the time of recording this voiceover, it is the day after, and the elbow is generally feeling fine. This did unfortunately also impact my lower dynamic workout, which I tried to do this morning, trying to do dynamic deadlifts, pulling a lot of weight. It still hurt that left side. So I think I'm just going to have to do a general lower workout. I'm going to do it tomorrow on Sunday instead. So it has been a bit annoying to ruin the end of this very nice 3-week wave where things have gone well. However, there are a lot of bright points and positives to look over this cycle. One is that my right knee, the main injury I've been dealing with, is feeling fantastic. So the current amount that I'm training and volume I'm doing and the intensity I'm training at is not hurting my right knee. It's moving in the right direction and becoming pain-free, and if anything, rehabbing more. So that has been a great success of this cycle. And in general, I've just been hitting PRs and feeling like my all-time strongest, particularly on my upper accessories. When I've been going heavier early this week, I went way heavier than I ever have done on accessories, and that as well could have contributed to the sore left elbow. So just to say as well, this was my second exercise, which was rows. I went a bit lighter and did sets of 20 plus the shrugs, which absolutely burnt out my traps. By the end here, I was just so sore, shooting all the way up into my neck. But that's great. That's basically, I want this third week of my 3-week wave to be the most intense and hardest before I take my deload. So although I couldn't go the heaviest this week, I was able to train hard. And for instance, here on the sets of chest flies, my next accessory, I did these because I didn't want to do another press. Usually I would have done sort of chest press or dumbbell press for the chest, but that was just going to aggravate the elbow more. And instead here I just went high rep and to failure. And on the second set, I used drop set pins. So if you don't know what drop set pins are, first of all, I'd like to say that drop sets are fantastic for increasing the intensity of your workouts whatever you're doing. I absolutely think that everybody should do drop sets. I think they're the best way to progressively overload when you're stuck in a plateau. So if you're stuck for like 10, 12 weeks and you're lifting the same weight for the same amount of reps, add in a drop set and that is going to help build up more strength. And often I've found that that's the best way to bust through plateaus on my accessories. But here, using the drop set pins, they are a great and cheap gadget. You can see it sticking out of the weight stack there. And when I can't do any more reps, I'm approaching failure here. It's getting hard. You'll see me lower the weight stack down all the way here, and bang, the pin drops out. And then suddenly I can move and get some extra reps in. So drop set pins are fantastic. Obviously, they only work on weight stack machines, and I'd advise you only do drop sets on weight stacked machines anyway. Like if you try and do a drop set on squats, what are you going to do? Like run and try and quickly load the plates off? It's just not going to work. Versus on something like lat pull downs or a chest press or the chest flies or quad extensions or hamstring curls, anything like that with a weight stack, drop set pins are a great way to up your intensity and a great way to bust through plateaus when you do plateau. Like I said, you can add in some extra reps at a lighter weight. So the second to last accessory here was like holding isometric side laterals. I just wanted to pump up the delts. My left delt, like I said, was hurting a bit as well. Hit those shoulders without hurting that left shoulder, and I find that doing isometrics is a very sort of low impact and easy way to train your muscles. And it was so hard. Obviously this movement, the side laterals, like it's its hardest position when you're extended fully out to the side. Trying to hold it is very hard, and obviously it's very humbling in terms of the weight, like 10 kilos, 22 pounds, not a lot of weight at all. But a great way to get some pain into those muscles, like I was talking about with high reps. And really it's high duration sets. Whenever the time and detention is like over a minute, that is when you really start feeling the pain. And you can train like I did there to the point where I literally couldn't hold the dumbbells anymore. Managed to get a few normal reps in, but the shoulders were just completely wrecked. Even trying to lift those dumbbells and re-rack them there was challenging. So the final exercise I decided to do was bicep curls, and for some reason in this hammer curl position my biceps were not that painful on the left side, even though the bicep tendon had been really tender. So I can do hammer curls up to like 30 kilos as well, so 20 kilo hammer curls were actually fairly light for me. Like I can control and move this weight very easily, but I figured that if 20 kilos didn't hurt, originally I'd done a warm-up set with 15 kilos, which you could see earlier, which I sort of skipped through. But if that felt so easy, I thought I might as well go a bit heavier and try and test these tendons out, see if everything feels fine, and it has done. So managed to still train my biceps effectively. If anything, that was the heaviest of all of my accessories, ironically, even though the bicep tendon is what held everything else back in this workout. Not really sure why that happened or the logic behind that, but I'm not going to complain. It allowed me to train my biceps properly. So yeah, the session overall and this 3-week cycle overall has been a success. I'm definitely at my all-time strongest. I think the systemic fatigue I'm feeling is huge. Like, training almost every set to failure of accessories is very hard on the body, and I do think like that has also contributed to this minor bicep sort of niggle, because there is no way that you can train all out all the time and expect to experience no systemic fatigue or no extra pain. So I think I might dial that back a little bit for my next 4-week cycle. It's always good to reflect on your training. So that is it for today's video. I hope you did in fact enjoy the video. If you did, drop it a like, drop it a comment, subscribe, click the bell, all of that good stuff, and have a great day.